Yo, what is good, my quick crypto family and my coin factory family? Back once more with another daily crypto stream. I am currently trying a bit of a new setup right now in preparation for Facecam. Nothing looks like it's changed right now because nothing particularly has. But beforehand, I used to use just the OBS stream software, and now I'm trying to use Streamlabs, which is different. Not bad, not bad at all actually. It's just different. But I'm enjoying it so far. It did take me like 6 hours of troubleshooting today to figure it all out. But either way, stream is good. Stream's looking good on my side, and we can get into today's crypto content. We've got quite a lot of very bullish news to get into today. Not so much for Casper per se, although we have got some interesting posts here. Mainly from Shy, but it's actually just a general update. Quite good news, if you ask me, just regarding VPROGs. But we have got a lot of very big fundamental news. As the title suggests, the Fed are about to prepare, in a sense, they're about to kickstart the next leg of the bull run with a lot of announcements coming out. So we'll get into all that stuff in a moment. And the face cam that I'm sure many of you have still been asking for, that will be right now, I'd say latest is Tuesday. Latest will be Tuesday, because I think I've got most of the stuff set up. So I will be comfortable enough to probably start doing Facecam from Tuesday. So it could be sometime before that. Again, just keep your eyes peeled. That being said, welcome back everybody once more. We've got Greta here once again. First, indeed. LB, not sure how you got fifth there. Good maths, but welcome back, brother, on the check-in. Cheesebean, welcome back, brother. And you too, Greg. Hope you're doing very well. CZ getting a pardon right near the daily and weekly cycle lows for Bitcoin, and Tesla not selling their Bitcoin for Q3 financials. To me, that's the insider GOAT signal, not financial advice. And yeah, you know what? I'm not opposed to that at all. I'm really not. I do think that there's a lot of interesting coincidences, to put it that way. And that is one of our posts here today as well. Where exactly it is, I don't remember. And one of my many tabs I have up. There. Yeah, so earlier today, CZ, Binance, the founder of Binance CZ, was pardoned by Trump. And he said he is deeply grateful for today's pardon with Trump, and he will do everything he can to help make America the crypto capital of the world. Again, maybe it's just, maybe it's a sign of what's to come. CZ helping Trump, kind of making crypto in America a lot more prevalent, a lot more powerful, and just, yeah, I think it's quite a big deal all in all, if I'm being honest. Quite a big deal. And yeah, not financial advice, but it could be perceived as a form of ghost signal. When you look at the charts right now, Bitcoin's now managed to rally back up to 110k, trying to surpass that level of resistance. Ethereum at 3.8k, Casper 5.1 cents. And we are seeing it forming, would you say it's a new low? I guess you could say it's a new low, because it is technically lower than these two wicks we saw earlier back in March and April. But it is holding this level right now. I can hope and only pray that it does continue to hold that level. But this does seem to be quite a strong bottom for Casper around this 4.8 cents zone. And it's trading between here right now. We'll see if it can make that move back up this wedge pattern, this resistance level in the coming weeks. Next up, we've got Devious Me. Welcome back, bro. You're doing very well. Tyne or Tinny, welcome. Devish, welcome back, brother. Dimitar, first time I have some worry about Casper. Shai just said that many have been buying 1 million Casper for only 100 USD, and if they start to sell, they will dump all of us. I haven't seen that post, although I'm sure Shai may have posted something like that, and that is a valid concern to have. Casper's very cheap right now, so those who still see Casper as a project that will go up in future may decide to buy at these dirt cheap levels and then dump at the top, or dump as it goes up. That's a real possibility. I am not particularly that worried about it, because for those of us who still have conviction in Casper regardless and not here just purely for the short-term gains, we'll probably end up buying those dips. We're going to have to wait and see how it pans out. Casper's currently up 4.26% on the daily time frame off the back of some reassuring news and off the back of the general market sentiment as well, with the belief that we're about to go a lot higher very soon. I can see that actually I haven't done that properly for some reason. Why is that not showing the whole of the chat? Interesting. Interesting. I need to sort that out. Welcome, Saliv. Hope you're doing very, very well. Wing Hong, welcome back, man. We moon yet? Not yet, unfortunately, but hopefully soon enough. New England, Casper is about to rip, boys. I can only hope, can only pray. I do feel like it's happening. British news, we've got a lot of British news, not so much for Casper per se, but for the general market, yes, very, very British news today. What am I wearing? Coggers again, and a cardigan and a shirt. Welcome back, Mr. Milesboro. You're doing very well, brother. Big Cos Wallop checking in. Welcome back, baby daddy. Asta and Casper, 2 diamonds. I've been hearing quite a bit about Asta. In fact, there was someone who I am quite close with in the crypto space who's just rotated out of Hyperliquid to get into Asta. It's one that I am looking into potentially, but I'm not so set on it right now. But again, did you buy more Casper? I have bought a little bit more Casper. At these values, you'd probably think I should be buying more, and arguably I should be buying more. But I've decided that with there still being quite a bit of uncertainty and the possibility that we could still go down more, that I'm going to stack more on dry powder as opposed to stacking on any in particular project, and then start DCAing back in when I feel the time is right, which right now I think the time is approaching, so I might start buying some more Casper soon. Welcome, Eric. Crypto is rigged, no doubt. The whole financial space is rigged. Everything is rigged. Crypto, stocks, bonds, everything. There's no matter what financial market, no matter where you go, there's going to be fixing and rigging and stuff everywhere. Show your face on Halloween. Give us a good scare. Honestly, not a bad shout. That means Friday. Friday would not be a bad shout at all. Maybe. Wouldn't be a bad shout at all, actually. YoQC comments on the bottom getting cut off a bit. Yes, I did see that. So I'm trying to, while talking now, I'm trying to alter that a little bit. See if I can. Here's a little bit. If I just quickly go back up to the long post from Dimitar, and I think I need to up the width a little. If I do that, will that help? Or I need to do. Interesting. I had no idea why it's doing that. It should really. It's something I should probably try and figure out the next time, because there are for long posts right now it's cutting out. Again, trying something new. Apologies for that. It's different, to put it that way. It's different. Not sure exactly what to do right now to fix that. At least, oh, there you go. Wow, look at me. I'm such a technician. All right, that will fix it. And there you go. Boom. God, look at me. Look at me go. How does he do it? Anyways, where was I? Double D, welcome back, brother. You're doing very, very well. And you too, Ghost, my man. All of you doing very well, hopefully. And Amil, what are your thoughts on Casper Power Law? I'm not someone who pays a lot of mind to the Power Law, in all honesty. There are arguments for and against Casper still following the Power Law. I understand the Power Law being quite an interesting indicator, but for me, the Power Law is just the same as any other indicator. You know, something you can use to help potentially track or predict the price of where the product's going to go. But for me, I think you pair that with fundamental news and project developments, and that will give you a similar outcome. Casper's not really been. I mean, if you look at the website that I used to showcase on stream quite often, much earlier on. If I go to useful websites and go to the Power Law, the Power Law here suggests that Casper has, not that one, rainbow chart. It's just that Casper's massively deviated off that right now. So again, it's not something that I particularly care too much on. It's not something that I focus too much on, but you know, maybe that change. Yeah, comments are fixed now. Thank you very much for the bringing my notice to it, Greg. Cargo pants actually make the bean sounds intensify. Right, okay, let's get into the actual content now. Let's get into the content. So to start off with family, we've got this first post here that I made earlier. Made it last night when the markets were looking a little bit red, a little bit bearish, where the extreme fear indicator is starting to rally to those extreme fear levels again, where we can see dropping below that 25. And yesterday we saw Bitcoin was down 1.07%, Ethereum 2.84%, XRP 3%, Casper was down 5.38%. Zebek was the only asset doing well that day, although Zebek right now actually is at a lower entry level than I had, but I'm not too worried about that right yet. Ondu was down, Okta, Sui, Tau, even the stock market was down, but the M2 money supply was up. So the post that I made in correlation to that was again just quoting this post we spoke about yesterday from JP Morgan, where they had they had their 13th annual Techstar conference with over 1,000 people in the tech world, where their biggest talking points was about yields, how to use AI for more revenue, about yield farms to make their crypto work for them without selling it, but also how to basically just shift away from the growth at any cost mentality that's been in crypto for a long time to creating actual infrastructure that will generate consistent profitability, sustainable business models, and generate cash and maintain healthy margins. So for me, again, this is another indicator that Wall Street, JP Morgan is saying price volatility and regulatory noise are just further distractions. The deeper story is that the rails are being built for the future. So this price action right now, while of course we'll talk about it continuously, is a sign again that this is just temporary. The price is relative. To understand where the price is going to go, that you have to look at the macroeconomic news, but also have to understand what these projects are building as well. Because some of these projects here might do great, but they might also be more so building for growth at any cost as opposed to growth for the future, which some of these projects in here are just growth at any cost. And yeah, you saw that yesterday, screenshot from there, the project's going down, but then you also saw again, empty money supply going up. And that's something I wanted to be talking about a little bit well. Empty money supply continuously going up higher and higher and higher is a sign that we are seeing increased liquidity and capital coming into the general economy, which therefore eventually will cycle into these markets if the sentiment does shift towards risk on or towards crypto, which again is looking very good, nearing all-time highs. And even the stock market, that for me right now actually is my biggest indicator, if I'm being honest. To determine where the market's going to go, I'm looking at stocks, because crypto, very small, very volatile, and very emotional market, Bitcoin and crypto goes down and up like the weather in the United Kingdom. It's very bipolar. Stocks, much more battle-tested market, is not as emotionally driven. It is, but not as significantly, because this is a bigger market and the percentage swings are a lot smaller. So if stocks are going down, that could potentially be a sign of something coming. But if stocks staying up and going up and nearing all-time highs, that tells me that the money going into, because stocks is also risk on, not as risky as crypto, but it's also risk on. Stocks keep going up, and for me, crypto's inevitably going to follow it in future as well. Gold has had its first green day, after the last 2-day massive dump, which again means that store value and risk off sentiment is still very much there, but it's still doing okay right now. And this is again the sign of that. This whole financial market, what we're seeing right now, is just the ongoing process of denouncing the dollar, with the whole fiat system just kind of falling down the spiral and just losing its value. We're seeing alternative assets starting to come into the limelight as kind of the replacement, if you will, and a safe haven, if you will, against the diminishing dollar and fiat currency. So markets were down yesterday, but for me, again, just a surface distraction. If we move on next, we've got this post that's the main title for today's stream, where we have 3 big announcements. JP Morgan have announced that they expect the Federal Reserve to end quantitative tightening next week, which would be quite a big surprise, to be honest, because if you think back to it a couple of weeks back, that's when we heard Jerome Powell say that they're now planning to end QT after, I think they started QT, the quantitative tightening process, at COVID, and it's been going on continuously since COVID. So it's the first time they're planning to actually start shifting from QT to QE, quantitative easing, which means less restrictive monetary policies, meaning basically money printing. That's basically what it means. It means money printing. Now, of course, JP Morgan aren't the Fed, they aren't Jerome Powell, so we can't take this at face value. But if this does happen, that would be quite a big deal, because Jerome Powell said in the next few months, so the anticipation was going into probably January 2026. If it happens next week, that would be a very, very early and big catalyst. There's also now apparently an 80% chance of there being 3 rate cuts. And most importantly, there is $7.4 trillion worth of institutional capital sitting in money market funds waiting on the sidelines. So with us now knowing, and quite evidently seeing, QT is ending very soon. How soon, again, not really sure, but soon enough. More rate cuts than expected potentially coming through. and there being $7 trillion of capital on the sidelines, what do you personally think is about to happen? Now, this capital can go into multiple markets, be it gold, be it real estate, be it stocks, be it Bitcoin. All are very, very possible, and all will receive some capital. But for me, the one that I am most likely to look towards, based on the institutional sentiment, is probably into crypto. I mean, not as much. Most asset managers are talking about allocating 5% of their portfolios into Bitcoin. It's not a considerable amount of capital, but you're going to see a portion of the 7 trillion coming into Bitcoin. Right now, crypto's sitting at around a 3.54 trillion market cap. You could easily see it probably reach 6 this cycle, in my belief. Maybe a little bit higher. Some are saying 7.5, which I think maybe be a bit high. But point being is you've got a lot of capital sitting on the sidelines. The monetary policies and the monetary policies is about to start easing in America, starting to incur more money printing, which will therefore start setting the markets a lot higher as well. Which is why, again, price is nothing but a distraction. You see these massive pullbacks. There's distraction at hand trying to get a hold of you to distract you from what is about to happen, and also what these projects are actually doing. Which is why, again, don't be emotional, be logical. Will Casper be ISO 20022 compliant in the future? Yes, it will be, as DD here with Warp Core KII have built or are in the process of building a project called Warp Core that has already done tests with Swift and is ISO 20022 compliant, which in that regard, therefore, by extension, Casper, yes, will be compliant with ISO 20022 through KII. Talk about Dung Knight. Let me keep stacking Casper a little bit more. I mean, yeah, honestly, that is the forever mood for me as well. I'm actually happy Casper stayed down this low because it means that the fuck can keep building, I can keep stacking, and when the price reverses, then I've made a bigger bag. Do you have thoughts of correlation of gold and crypto? Yes, it is some form of correlation. The correlation that used to be that people used to pay a lot of attention to is that when gold rallies, Bitcoin follows a month afterwards. Now, after what's happening, it's had a bit of a divergence between the two. It's not been as black and white as that. If that was the case, then Bitcoin, we've seen this rally now, started in August. Bitcoin, August would have been here, so we should start seeing the rally now. It's not following right now, so it used to be that case, not so much right now. But the correlation between the two for me is gold is safe haven. Whenever the fiat economy is crumbling, people go to gold. Bitcoin is being perceived as the digital gold, which means crypto is being perceived as potentially a safe haven as well. The fact that we're getting all the monetary rails being migrating and built on top of crypto now, for me, is a big deal. So there is a correlation. Gold will forever be the ultimate safe haven, but you're starting to see crypto gain more credibility, if that makes sense. Ecosystem is in place. Imagine with Dagnut and Vrogs, ooh la la, 100%. When you get those developments coming out, it's going to be absolutely game changing. To actually, in that regard, then we're going to get to some other Casper posts real quickly. So to start off with, we had this post here retweeting what Casper said here, which is as we've already mentioned the last two streams, the largest Casper ASIC production company being Ice River, their parent company being mine's gone completely blank right now. Being Begin blockchain. Begin blockchain have finally gone live on the Nasdaq, which is quite big news. And you can see now, as they publicly disclosed, how much they are currently holding. So we can see, quite a big deal. And we can, if we move on here, we can see Oyson Lee actually said the latest disclosed information is this. So originally used to see 69 million USDT with 14.5 million Casper, how much they owe. And then it switched. The latest disclosed information actually is 2.3 million USDT, it's $2.3 million, but they currently have 235 million Casper. They have 250 million Casper right now, equating to roughly 32.9 million. So this is a considerable amount of capital they currently hold of Casper, being Ice River, therefore being Begin blockchain. And this is again why I made the post a while back about how, despite this not being a Casper mining company, because they mine other projects as well, they just sell ASIC miners, their close correlation to Casper, this could potentially bring more Wall Street eyes towards this project, which could incur more investments. And the calculations done here basically means that their average cost of Casper right now actually is about 14 cents, which that in itself is also quite important to let you know, because it means that they currently are down 66% in value from the average cost, give or take. So they're also down massively. And they're not offsetting any of their costs at all. They're holding it still because they still believe that it's something that's going to do very well in the future, as many of these wallets do. That's why you're still seeing these wallets stack more and more. Wallet 1 now, projected to be Binance, have been stacking continuously. It recently became an acronym of 1.1 billion. Wallet 7 has been very active recently as well. Now got 350 million. You've seen these big wallets, known exchanges or unknown exchanges, starting to stack more and more and more, which is interesting. And maybe again a sign of something coming to come very, very soon. In other news, we also heard apparently this is unannounced, but Bybit EU now officially launched a CAS USDC trading pair, which is, again, more exposure to an extent, which is pretty big news. So can't complain about that. And then we get into the big post for the stream regarding Kaspa, which is from Shy here, but it's talking about Vrogs, which again, they're not on-chain smart contracts, but they are a sort of protocol or mechanism that basically improves smart contracts that are built natively on Casper. A big mouth Rob, stop. I'm not sure what I'm being told to stop, but gonna just say no. Where are we going to Valhalla? Hopefully soon. Of crypto, sure when. Welcome back, Kryptoni bro. You're doing very well. You think people sitting on 300 million Casper wouldn't feel inclined at some point to just up and leave, especially if they bought it for like 100 million a month? I mean, it's a fair question. The question I guess you could ask, if you're in the same situation, would you? If you had 300 million Casper, which you bought for X amount of capital and it's down significantly, would you rather just hold in the strong belief that a lot of us have that it's going to come back, or would you just cut your losses? For me, I'll probably choose the former. I think I'll continue to hold. I mean, I am continuing to hold. I'm down on Casper. But now that gold is breathing, some people's profits will hopefully turn to crypto. We have to see what they're cooking. I mean, yeah, now that gold is starting to make a bit of a recovery, you might start seeing people cycling some of their gold into Bitcoin. That might come into other profit projects as well. Look at the weekly candle RSI. I mean, I can, but I can't. I can't because with TradingView, because I don't pay for TradingView, you only get 2 indicators, which I have this moving average one, which I don't ever really use in all honesty. Moving average one here and the M2 money supply one. You're only allowed to have 2, which means I have to remove one of them to get the RSI up. And I made a post on my channel about it a little while back. Of course, indicators are important, so whatever works for you, innit? But sometimes indicators can just overcomplicate things. That's why I don't really use these moving averages either. Just support and resistance levels, price action, and patience is all I tend to use when I'm looking at projects. I don't pay attention to these RSI stuff so much. I might talk about it because I know people care about it, but I won't pay attention to it personally. I look at a project like Casper and I can see where it has held strong. Therefore, these being levels of support and or resistance. This is evidently a level of support here. You can see that it's been battle tested, it's been proven. Every single time it's touched that zone, right here, so I know that's the level. Whether the RSI or moving average says otherwise, I know that's the level it's going to try and have to break through. This is how I trade it. For me, it's been a lot more successful than getting so many indicators and therefore, for me, overcomplicating things. But I mean, the RSI is at really low levels. It does suggest that it's being oversold, therefore it's not being bought up and going up higher soon. We'll have to wait and see though. Inside the Begin, is this connected to Ice River and Casper? Yes. So Begin blockchain is the parent company to Ice River, and of course Ice River is the largest Casper ASIC provider, and they hold a significant amount of Casper. So by Begin blockchain going public on the Nasdaq, it does basically give indirectly more eyes towards Casper. I also would say it's the case as well. If they ended up not liking Casper for whatever reason, actually, we'll probably go back to Bitcoin. Exactly. Dimitar, Casper was only at 0.0001 for legit like 1 week after it launched. I doubt people who bought then are still holding. They most likely sold on the way up. I mean, I cannot confirm nor deny that because I have no information on that. I don't know who got into Casper that early. They might have sold, they might have not sold. I know a lot of people who did get in early enough have sold now. They've taken some profits. I haven't. I got in at 5 cents. I got in at 2023. I haven't taken any profits whatsoever. I kept DCA more and more. USDT and USDC KRC20 tokens are reserved already. Yeah, I guess that's so. I've not heard any news about that. I know that KF Johnny mentioned about the stablecoins coming to them soon enough, but it's been about a month. We've heard nothing yet. And if you look at Casperlytics right now, you can see there isn't. There's actually been diminishing action on the cashback layer 2. And it's because, a month in, we've still not had any open source yet. Frustrating. A month in, and while building's ongoing and looking good, like it's been slow. And the markets, again, haven't been doing well this last month. So people are not so inclined to partake, which is fair enough. But I know for sure that a company like Circle is going to want to see some significant volume in transactions before they end up taking a risk on to bridge onto a protocol, let alone go native. So I'm not saying you're wrong, but I haven't had the information about it. I think we're probably going to see stables on Casper at some point, but I'm not sure it's going to be anytime soon at this point. You don't have to pay for. You don't have a Patreon account. I understand. I would cut into your XRP DCA. Yeah. Okay. Nice joke, Mr. Mars. Thank you very much. Yeah. Speaking of XRP again, if you like, subscribe, and let's gonna just skip that over right now. Welcome back, Erica. You're doing very, very well. We moon yet. We're doing better today, but no, we haven't mooned yet. Casper's currently up 5.2%. It's wrestling again with that level of resistance here around the 5.1, and we'll hopefully see if Bitcoin continues in this fashion. We'll see Casper move up as well, but Bitcoin is not got any confirmed trajectory just yet, because right now I think what we saw, if I'm being blunt, we saw this crash on Friday. We saw a little recovery. We saw it go down further off the continual tariff announcement. Then we saw a recovery again. And I think this, I think this would have been the market's pricing in rate cuts. Pricing in just basically means it's by the rumor, sell the news, but happened before the fact. So it's priced in the rate cuts. So if that's the case, that means that Bitcoin should hopefully start making a bit of a recovery from here. But it's still too early to say right now. We have got a lot of capital soon to be coming in, but it'll just take a matter of time. Now, if we go back to where we were talking about Shai here and his general breakdown with Vrogs, which is, from what we've heard from those who were like Codeware Stuff. Was it Codeware Stuff? Fresh Air, even one of the core devs. This is factually correct, so, or more or less correct. So one thing that people in Casper should understand about Vrogs is that they are not on-chain smart contracts. Not on-chain. On-chain means that the smart contract logic and its current state can be computed in full from data available on the chain. Rollups in the abstract are any technology that allows you to validate state transactions on-chain while delegating, maintaining, and progressing the state to external entities. So I've been purposefully saying that Vrogs quote native smart contracts, but I have been emphasizing time and time again they're not native smart contracts because native smart contracts are something else entirely, but they are perceived as a similar thing in the Casper space. So Vrogs are extremely cool and have an important benefit, especially to Casper, but they are not on-chain smart contracts. They do not remove trust assumptions that are required by any other form of based enshrined rollup. In both cases, the baseness provides sequencing that only relies on the layer 1 and leaves everything else to whoever deployed the contract. The benefits of Vrogs are mostly computational. They provide better proof granularity, that's the word, by providing powerful on-chain utilities for breaking execution into independently provable steps that can then be stitched together. So, in other words, they are also proposed applications for interoperability, although a fake, I don't even know what that's the abbreviation of actually. This direction is far from having a prototype. Other benefit is they are very small and simple contracts, in particular contracts that don't implement the entire network with its own assets, and they can be deployed as simple VPROGs. If not on-chain, the people who use the contract still need to maintain the state and execution stack off-chain. But since the latter can be very simple, say an escrow service, the owners of the contract could arguably deal with that instead of having to mount an entire programmability network. So the bottom line is VPROGs, they don't make base rollups obsolete. You don't bring up VPROGs and therefore, oh great, you've got smart contracts. No, it's not the case. VPROGs are something that makes them better. So the long and short of it, again, is to get out all the technical elements of that. VPROGs for Casper, they aren't smart contracts. They are native smart contracts, but they are like, the way I can give an analogy is, imagine smart contracts are your internet provider. VPROGs are a booster. You might get some dead zones or some other issues in your house or your residence. And the VPROGs are the booster that basically gives a massive boost and massive benefit to let you function as it should do for smart contracts on the native layer 1. So this basically means that VPROGs will come out, hopefully sometime soon next year. And when they come out, they will actually add further benefits. So when the native smart contracts are built on Casper, it would just, again, be a massive benefit to those who are trying to use it. And also will give benefits to the layer 2 providers as well, so they can fit in from the scheme of things. To which then there was a response here from Fresh Air. After discussion with Fresh Air, we're inclined to clarify that not being on-chain is a good thing, as should be well known to anyone who follows me for long enough. My conviction is, and has been for years now, that arbitrarily complex on-chain computation is a bad design. To call VPROGs on-chain is to completely miss what makes them awesome. And they are awesome, they are not on-chain, they are just something else to help benefit the on-chain smart contract and the smart contract that will come out in the future, the ZK opcodes, ZK proofs. So that does therefore mean that you'll probably end up seeing the hard fork at some point next year, hopefully with Dagnite and VPROGs together. And when that happens, you then will have the next step for Casper, which would be to kind of build these. And I'm sure, actually, in a sense, I'm sure you've got people like Project Sparkle and those who are trying to build that as well, who are basically building smart contracts that would run through the VPROG, kind of therefore being native to Casper. It's not easy to understand unless you understood it perfectly fine, then great, because it's something that I'm still wrestling with and I need to look into it more so myself. But my understanding of it is VPROGs are a very innovative piece of technology that hasn't really been properly explored before. Something that is going to ideally make smart contracts on Casper a lot better, and also native to the layer 1, and will just benefit the ecosystem going forward as well. Which is good. And again, if these developments coming out next year do coincide with the belief the cycle is going to extend, then we are looking very, very good as well. Again, as you've seen, rate cuts coming through next year, $7 trillion of capital coming through when the markets start to, reverse, then that's going to look very, very good, especially if the Fed starts ending QT going towards QE. And this is the big reason why I think it's going to happen. And the reason why I also believe that this $7 trillion of capital might come, quite a lot of it come actually into Bitcoin and crypto. Because we're seeing the sort of adoption we're seeing already in this space, it's quite significant. According to Cointelegraph here, stablecoins processed $46 trillion in transactions over the past year, which is nearly 3 times the size of Visa. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And closing in on the automated clearing houses network that powers the US banking system. That's why they want stablecoins. It's a very, very big deal. Stablecoins are, USDC, USDT, RLUSD, PayPal. Like, there's so many stablecoins coming out right now, but they are a seemingly great financial instrument to transact capital very, very quickly. Hence why the adoption in this space is coming through quicker and quicker as well. We've heard about CZ and Trump already, about he's been pardoned, which I think could be a very, very good signal. And then we've got this other big announcement as well, which has come from Brian Armstrong, which is, for me, actually arguably the biggest announcement of this stream, which is in regards to the Clarity Act, which saw a lot of pushback in the last couple of weeks. But now, according to the meeting that the crypto leaders like Brian Armstrong had with the Republican and Democrats, they're apparently now 90% there, and the bill should be passed hopefully before Thanksgiving, which should be very, very big. So in fact, very closely here to Brian Armstrong.
For instance, DeFi, we want to make sure. Hey everyone, Brian Armstrong here. I'm back in DC, and even though the government is shut down, the Senate is working hard on getting market structure legislation passed for crypto, which is great to see. I attended some meetings this morning with both the Senate Dems, the Senate Republicans, and I'd say they're 90% on the same page. There's draft text being shared back and forth between both parties. Both sides want to get this done. That last 10%, there's a couple remaining issues open, like, for instance, DeFi. We want to make sure that we're pushing to protect DeFi and all the innovation potential that can have, and that the centralized intermediaries in crypto like Coinbase should be regulated, not the protocols. And then of course, we're making sure to preserve stablecoin rewards for you as well. The big banks are coming for their cash grab, trying to block that, even though it was just recently decided in the Genius Act, which just recently became law. We're not going to let them relitigate that. So with these last few issues getting wrapped up, we're hoping to see this bill come out of committee by Thanksgiving. That would be a great outcome. Fingers crossed. We're going to keep showing up for your rights, and we'll keep you updated. Thanks.
Now, we can still make the talking point, the argument about the fact that, again, centralized, right? You've got these crypto entities who are kind of leading this so-called revolution and leading the laws and policies of the land. It's a centralized issue, right? Casper, of course, fixes that. But in saying that, the passing of the Clarity Act would be a very, very big deal. To understand why, right now, there's not clear guidelines between who should oversee crypto. With the Clarity Act, you get clearer guidelines between the SEC and the CFTC. The SEC deal with securities, the CFTC deal with commodities and everything else. So if you're a security, you're in trouble, right? And you go to the SEC. If you're a commodity, you're fine. The CFTC oversee you, and you actually have less regulatory scrutiny otherwise. You get more freedom effectively if you're under the CFTC. That's great for Casper, because Casper's a fair launch project. As kept as a fair launch project, like Bitcoin, it would not be under the SEC, but the CFTC. So the passing of the Clarity Act would indirectly benefit Casper quite a lot as well. And seemingly close now, which is reassuring news. In other reassuring news, Fidelity has expanded its digital asset lineup by adding Solana alongside Bitcoin, ETH, and Litecoin. In addition, the addition applies to all Fidelity digital asset platforms, including Fidelity Crypto for retail users, IRAs, wealth managements, and institutional trading accounts. So, again, a general crypto update, but further proof that this space is expanding more so, accepting multiple other cryptos. It used to be just Bitcoin and ETH, and in this case Litecoin as well, but it's starting to expand into Solana. You'll probably see XRP eventually going into there. You end up seeing Dogecoin probably expanding into there, Polkadot, Hedera HBAR, Sui, and that can continue expanding more and more, and potentially expand and creep into Casper as well. But again, that's quite early doors to really make any prediction on that front. But we're seeing in continual development in this space, development for crypto, with even Revolut now being the counterpart to Monzo, who's now just secured his Mika license, which is fantastic stuff. And they're preparing to launch crypto services across Europe for millions of users. That's great for Revolut. And then a big announcement as well is regarding to Trump and the White House. So apparently the White House announces that Trump will meet Xi Jinping on October 30th. So we've been hearing a lot of not going to meet him, is going to meet him. Now apparently we've got a date where he's going to be meeting him next week, Thursday, which is 48 hours before the 100% tariff. So hopefully they form a trade deal then and prevent what would end up probably being an ongoing trade war if it does go through, and that will cause a lot of pullbacks in the market. But also, Scott Bessent's going to be meeting with the Chinese vice premier tomorrow as well to discuss trade. So it looks like it's going bit by bit now, which is good news. Don't care about the chatter between them now and then. What's up, Jay? I'll continue to hold and stack my Casper until 2030 when I retire, which should also coincide with the new 5-year business cycle pump. Don't care about chat between now and then. Honestly, 3D, it's not a bad strategy. Again, strategy your own, do your own research, but it's not a bad strategy because there's going to be a lot of chatter, a lot of pullbacks, a lot of pumps during this time. It just seems to be that we're going into a new business cycle, a new macro cycle. So you may end up seeing an extended cycle here, pullback, and then continue momentum going into 2030 as well. Definitely possible. And if you continue holding, then the belief is that, yeah, you'll be sitting very, very comfy on like a gold mine that's going to eventually bear fruits. You're going to see a lot of developments, this sort of stuff that will end up causing short-term pullbacks, but the long term, it does definitely looks very, very bullish for crypto and for Casper as well. Even other assets, I mean, Zebek's doing quite well. I mean, price-wise, actually, it's fallen back quite a bit right now. It's only up 0.2%. It's holding the support level right now, actually below my entry level, but that's fine. If it goes anything below 0.0035, I'll be scooping up some there as well. I'll definitely be scooping up some there while it does go below that. Again, but Zebek again had a big announcement there, making a partnership with Uphold, which is quite big, sponsoring games across the NBA and the National Hockey League. So I think this space is going to see significant transformation in the next 5 years. Whether you need to take profits, DCA back in, or just hold for the next 5 years is completely up to you. But I think both strategies have their benefits and their negatives. I am probably going to adopt both of them, if I'm honest. There's going to be projects like Kaspa that I'm going to just hold. Not all of it, but I take hold. I might hold 30% of my bag and DCA back in. And the other projects that I'll probably take everything out and put it back into Casper. Again, we'll have to wait and see. My side bag is mooning in size. It all depends on the perspective. True. I'm sad my main bag is dropping in value, but I'm still to be able to pick up the side bag at these prices, no matter the direction of the price. I'm happy. Yeah, as you should be, Mr. Miles. As you should be. These are discount prices right now. And with all what's to come, as highlighted in my post here, I still think that we've got a lot higher to go. I'm not particularly worried about the current trajectory of the market. I think the market's going to recover and it's going to do quite well coming very, very shortly. But yeah, that is pretty much that, everyone is family. That's pretty much all the announcements for today. Again, one of the big announcements that I posted about is the fact that you are seeing other significant developments happening right now. Like, for example, the London Blockchain Conference happening right now, the most important event for London in England, arguably this year, where they're talking about many significant developments. It's something I spoke to my VIPs about a couple of days back, so we knew about it ahead of time. But the sort of stuff they're talking about here, again, is proof that this space is, not going away anytime soon. It's not going away anytime soon. The price is it sucks. Altcoins suck. But also take into account you've got 155 crypto ETPs on the sidelines. That'll all end up being approved once the government shutdown comes to an end, whenever that is. So again, you've got a lot of developments coming through. The fear is by design. There's a lot more to come through very, very shortly. And Casper, again, you're seeing inflows coming through. Big exchange stacking more and more. KRC20 has fallen off. This market's fallen off quite a bit recently. Naturally below 7 million again. Didn't think I'd see that fall ever again. But hey, maybe a chance to get into more of that if you so believe you want to. But at least it looks very, very discounted right now as well. Of course, it is indicative that Casper does very, very well. If you think it will do, then again, at your own risk. Not financial advice, of course, but these projects I think have got a lot to go through. And I think some of these actually are hidden gems more so than ever, if you know what it is. But yeah, that being said, family, if you enjoyed today's live stream, I know it's quite short today, but that is all we have for today's stream. Tomorrow will be a much longer one, I'm sure. If you enjoyed, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. If you want to learn more information, check out the free Discord server just to chill, chat, and learn more. Equally, the VIP is readily available for more in-depth analysis, trading, trading information like the games we're making here, other documentation, and much more. Check it all out for a 7-day free trial or for a month with BYDFI affiliate exchange. Again, if you need any help with that, reach out to me on Discord. I'll help you out where I can.